Good evening. It's been a long time, right? So today is August the 18th. It is a Sunday evening and it is somewhere close to 7 p.m. Central Time here in Alabama. Today I went to church and it was the Sunday school lesson. Actually, I read it on yesterday, and as I was sitting down studying, it actually moved me. But it wasn't until I was in church today that I was compelled to get on here. And plus it is, for me, the end of one season and it is the beginning of a new one. It is about to be the beginning of a new school year for me, so the beginning of a new work year. I started my journey in nursing education in 2011 and transitioned into the role of a chairperson over a division of nursing in 2017. And yes, it is 2024. So I have been in my role for 7 years. Some would say that that is completion. And in many ways, I feel like it is. For me, I've come to the completion of my infancy in my role. At times I've wondered if it meant it was time for me to actually, move on and do something else, to try something else, to, I don't know. I'm the type of person that I get restless, and I like a challenge. Not to say that this role is not challenging, because every year it brings its own challenges. It brings new things. And because I am who I am, I never just stay in a place. I like to always see if there's room for growth or room to make improvements. I don't like stagnation. It's just not in my DNA. It's important that I continue to keep moving, keep growing, keep improving, keep being sensitive, and keep listening, and keep hearing, and keep understanding, and where I can, keep being obedient. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here tonight, because in my stubbornness and in my hard-headedness and in my stiff-neckedness, that's not a word, I just totally tore down the English language, my stiff-neckedness. I don't always do what it is that I am required to do. To whom much is given, much is required. And I do understand that much has been given to me. My life is one that is blessed. I have talents, I have gifts that I do not wish to bury out in the yard, and wait for my master to return to give him the same gifts that he left me with. I do wish to use my gifts. I do wish to be a good and faithful servant. And I do hope that my gifts and my talents can be used to draw people to him, not to me, but to him, that I could do works, and people will see not me, but see him through my faith that I put into action. And it is the servant girl in the story, 2 Kings chapter 5, in the story of Naaman, that we find the servant girl who was taken captive, who was taken away from her people, from Israel, and brought into a foreign land, into Syria. And she is in bondage. She's in slavery. But she sees that her master is suffering with this disease of leprosy. And she tells her mistress, she's a maid servant to her mistress, and she tells her that she knows how Naaman can be healed. She knows someone that if he goes to, she knows that this man knows the God of Israel, and that he can heal him. And just to think that, sometimes we get so caught up in ourselves and we get so caught up in our feelings. And when I say we, I really mean I'm talking about me. But I know that there are other people out there that need to hear this, or else I wouldn't be on here right now. I get so caught up in me and my feelings and how I feel like people are treating me sometimes. And I know the same God that this young girl, this maidservant, knew. And even though she had every reason in the world to be angry, she's taken away from her parents, taken away from her family, taken away from her customs, taken away from her land, taken away from everything that she knew, and she is enslaved. And who would blame her for being angry and bitter and wanting to just, hold on to her customs and her faith in her heart, in her mind, and just keep it to herself and just keep her mouth closed and, just pray her prayers and ask God for deliverance and ask God for all these selfish prayers that would benefit her or benefit her people, and just wish nothing but horrible things on the people who had abducted her and taken her away from all that she knew. But that is not how Christians, godly people, because there's only one. There's only one God. That is not how we are supposed to act. That is not what we are supposed to do. That is not what our faith teaches us. Our faith teaches us that when we see someone who is suffering and when we see someone who is in need, whether that suffering be of the physical type or whether that suffering be something that is internal. And sometimes people, they vex my spirit because they are dealing with their internal demons. And what they do, I don't even know if they know that they are dealing with these things, but sometimes they will show up with people being mean-spirited. They show up with people, they show up in jealousy or envy. They show up in just ways that are, that try to invade my peace of mind, that try to invade my space, and that try to throw me off. And I'm not even going to say that it is, I'm not even going to give Satan credit here. It is just sometimes people need to be healed. They need to be introduced to the man. They need to be introduced to, they need to be told that I know someone who can heal you. I know someone who can help you if you want to be helped. And just the fact that Naaman listened to the servant girl, that his heart was in a posture to listen to accept. She was an Israelite. These people, they're sworn enemies. But his heart and his mind was in a position to listen to her. And he goes and he gets the healing that he needs. And again, the story I think is fascinating. You can go and read it for yourself, 2 Kings chapter 5. Because there are other things that happen as well that are quite interesting. One of those of which is that the king of Israel that he goes to, that his king, that Naaman's king sends him to, basically to buy this blessing, which is not how God operates. He doesn't operate in dollars and cents. I know everything is about the economy, stupid, but is it? Not when we deal with the God that we serve. But in this world, we seem to think that everything is about money, money, money. How can I get more? How can I hold on to it? How can I save it? How can I make sure that it's here even long after I'm gone? But that's not how the man that I'm talking about, that is not how he operates. He doesn't need our money. But the king of Israel has no relationship with the God of his ancestors. He has none. but there's a prophet in the land who has a relationship and who can help Naaman. It's like I said, it's an interesting story. I didn't hop on tonight to tell you the story. I hopped on to tell you about the servant girl, because in the servant girl, I see myself wanting to be like her. I see myself wanting to be known in my lifetime as the servant girl, the maiden, the one who would be known as the girl who served her Lord. I was speaking in church today, and I was just talking really from my heart of all the titles, of all the accolades, of all the things in my lifetime. If I am merely known by the title of the servant girl who served her Lord well, that you knew that my life, when I finally understood, because if you look back at my earlier days, you probably won't say that. But once I knew and came into the full realization of who the Messiah was and understood what he had done for me, if I am known as the one who served her master, who served her Lord, who stood in the gap for those who could not stand for themselves, who opened up her mouth to speak for those who could not speak for themselves, who put her faith into action when she was supposed to. Here lately, I've looked at my calendar for the upcoming semester, and I see all the little dots on my phone of meetings or whatever it is that I have to do. And I keep telling myself, I'm not talking to myself, I keep saying, well, Lord, should I do this? Am I supposed to do this? Maybe I shouldn't do this, so I need to say no. And he just speaks to me, and he guides my footsteps. I'm asking him to order my steps. I'm asking him to send me where it is he wants me to go. And I'm asking him that when I get there, that he orders my tongue and he orders my thoughts, and that I can do what it is that he has purposed me to do. Because I do believe that he has given me the gift of words. I believe that he has given me the gift of speech to be able to help people, to be able to bring people to certain understandings and certain realizations. Not to prophesy, not to preach, but yes, to teach and to help them to understand certain things. And one of the ways that I do that is through my poetry. And so I do want to share a poem with you. It is not from God Lifted Me, but from a future work that is to come. I'm going to pause and I'm going to read this. And then I'll be ready to close out because I don't want to keep you long. The title of the poem is Can These Words Heal? Not only these words, can any words heal? And when we think about in the beginning, there was the Word. And if you know, the Word. Can the Word heal? Preachers use them to preach. Others use them to pray. But what do they say? Lyrics form them to rhyme, and yet some, or most of the time, they seem only to get in the way. A combination of letters forming mystical, powerful sounds, some verbs, some nouns. Still others describe how we feel. But can speaking words heal, drive sickness and illness underground? Can words heal the cancer that has me dying, the weariness that stifles me trying, those lips of yours that keep lying? Can words heal a nation in denial, whose bad deeds never stood trial, while her citizens reject a sacred revival? Can words heal children who cannot eat, whose destiny is to die in and of the streets, as we continue to march to a drum without a beat? Can words heal when the heart closes its ear, when the mind can't discern faith from fear? What if our transformation is far from here? Can words heal if death and life live there? If a gentle tongue a life may spare, those who don't study the word may be unaware. The power of a sword with a double edge, a weapon speaking life and death upon all our heads. Choose your weapons, your words, wisely, or live in dread. Can these words heal? Can any words heal? The words that you use when you're in conversation with people, when you go into meetings with people, when you sit down and intentionally make it your goal, make it your habits, make it your purpose to use your words to harm, to hurt, to vex, to stir up. Are you healing? Are you doing good? Because it's intentional. Now it's different because I know that my tongue, especially in my youth, I had a coworker, and sometimes I would come to work and I'd be in an ill mood. Most of the time I was hormonal. Some of the times I would just be in a bad mood because of what was going on in my life at the time. And I would take it out on, unfortunately, him, because, we were cool. And he would ask me, he was like, wait a minute, let me go get you a napkin because I see something on the side of your face. And I was like, what? What's on my face? And he was like, blood is trickling out of your mouth because you must have had razor blades for breakfast this morning. Because my tongue, my words were being weaponized because it was telling me I had a smart mouth. I was being rude. I was being ugly for no reason. I had to check myself. And this is before I knew, truly knew, who Jesus is. Truly understood what he had done. Before I took the time to sit down myself and begin to study. And look, I'm in an infancy phase of my study of his life. Before I took the time to look back at the Old Testament and the New and see how people's lives had unfolded. Before I took the time to look at the history of the then, the more recent history, and see these things play out over and over and over again, and to see and to wonder, what's my role in this? What's my purpose in this? Because there's only one me, but each of us are members. Each of us who are Christians, each of us has a role to play. in how we go about feeding his sheep and how we go about representing the kingdom that we claim to be a part of. So for me, to whom much is given, much is required. And so I don't know how often I'll be here. I do know that I feel like my words, these words, as I come here and I share with you, will reach someone, will help someone to know that you're not by yourself, that we stand united, that I get you and I understand you, that in many ways I am you, and that for the longest time, especially when I was a teenager, there were many days that I felt that nobody got me, that nobody understood me. I was walking through this life and I was just different. I thought different. But that was because I was lost and I was a lost sheep and I was looking for something. I was looking for someone. I just didn't know who. But while I was in the valley, he was there the entire time. He was there. He was there. He was knocking on the door. And when I finally opened it and we met, it's great building a relationship. You guys know how it is when you meet somebody. You know that excitement that you feel when you first meet somebody. And you always want to talk to them. You always want to know what's going on. You always wonder, well, what are they doing? It's an excitement in building a relationship. And I encourage each of you to build a relationship with the living word. The things that he can teach. The things that he can show. The ways that he can heal depression and anxiety and fear. All those things that challenge us. All those wounds that no one sees, but you know are there. What a mighty God we serve. And there is nothing that is too hard for him. A servant girl. A servant girl who had every reason to be bitter and angry, but chose love and compassion instead. Yeah, the word can heal. He has been healing since the beginning of time. This has been Mary Hanks, the Mahogany Poet. I hope to see you soon. We're going to have a great semester.